Hello, I'm Dr. Eric Nersessian, and I'll be presenting the paper Travel Kinematics in Virtual Reality Increases Learning Efficiency. So, virtual reality computer interfaces have the unique spatial component that allows them to be embedded in the three-dimensional environment of the user. This is more natural and more akin to the sensory motor experiences that humans would naturally have, as opposed to two-dimensional monitors and interfaces. And when a system interface is displayed spatially in three dimensions on the user, the environmental traversal of the interface may have a stronger impact on performance. So, learning tasks that involve environmental traversal have little research in relation to general or STEM based virtual learning environments. Most of this research area involves industrial or military based learning scenarios. They did find that recent study did find that simulation of realistic movements of a naval vessel within a virtual environment did improve the learning efficacy of their officers in training. These findings may be generalizable to STEM education, which we seek in the study, as no research has explored this area. So the study was a between group design with two groups, the control and the treatment. That both groups were learning the bubble sort algorithm, like one of the basic topics in computer science. The control group stood still and used their hand controllers to move their avatar through the virtual list, the virtual environment, as they sorted the list. And the treatment group actually walked, used a natural walking method to navigate the list. And there were 42 participants from our undergraduate CS program. So this is the treatment, the full traversal. Here you see that the participant is actually moving throughout the environment as they sort the list. Here's the partial traverse. This is the control group. And as you see, the user is using their hand controller to move the environment around them as they stand still. This is what the virtual learning environment looked like to the participant through their virtual reality headset. They have a sorting table in front of them. They have this list that's represented with a bunch of 3D objects that have varying amount of numbers of objects within them. The sorting tray can only be moved from left to right, and you can only sort the two objects that are on the tray at any moment, just like you would in a bubble sort algorithm. This is what the learning assessment looked like: a series of multiple choice questions that get progressively harder, longer lists, and do they understand the actual algorithm, the steps it would take to sort that list. Here are the results. So for this one, the learning assessment comparison, we used a non-parametric Mann-Whitney test, confidence of 5%, as our data was not normally distributed. We did find a statistically significant difference between the learning improvements of the two groups, comparing the pre-test to post-test deltas. So the treatment group, the natural walking group, actually did perform statistically significantly better than the control group participants when comparing their pre and post test differences. Then we looked at task time comparisons, and we analyzed the task time differences between each condition to see if there was a difference in completing the time by condition. And we did find a significant difference in task one completion times and task two, with both the treatment, natural walking, being faster than the control group or partial. So, in conclusion, this study explored the effects of varying the traversal method within a virtual reality learning environment on user performance. The two traversal methods that were compared were a natural walking style of letting the participant actually walk through the virtual environment, and a more restricted style we stand still, and the control group used the hand controller to move the environment around them as they stood still. This was tested on a bubble sorting algorithm for computer science students, and the user testing did confirm that the treatment group that learned bubble sort on a list while using natural walking showed statistical improvements, significant improvements in learning and task time compared to the control group, which stood still.